I tried.
I've worn one in a sports car. I'll let you know after practice. Maybe you put it on. I don't think your arms can fit in arm sleeve.
I'll open it. Probably ought to have it.
No, they had truck practice. Truck races tonight. I appreciate your concern, though.
Are you running it?
No. Matt's over here trying to figure out if I'm running the truck race tonight. I don't run every race, just most of them. Last year.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. For those I don't know, I'm Winston Kelly with the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and delighted to be asked by our friends from Colleague Racing to be a part of this press conference this afternoon. I've had the pleasure of doing a number of these over the years. I remember one that Matt and Chris did at the Hall of Fame a couple of years ago, and as I think about the evolution of Colleague Racing and going back to Matt being a standout quarterback, I believe it's the University of Akron, then being an entrepreneur, starting up a business in his basement that has grown to a national and international presence, kind of reminds me of somebody else that started in the business back around 1984 and has gone on to some incredible success. And there's a lot of comparisons that I see how they have built the team very methodically, very thoughtfully, built around culture, built around people, built around teamwork, and built around humility. And I think that's something that when I think about Colleague Racing and how he and Chris have built this team, and I was really honored to be a part of this and excited to hear what they're going to share with the team. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to the president of Colleague Racing, Chris Rice. Chris?
Well, thank you, and thanks to everybody that's watching. Thanks to all the media outlets that are here to listen to something that has been dear to Matt Collick's heart since he started. When he dove into NASCAR back in 2014, he's really he's put a lot of effort into it, like a ton of effort. He's put a lot of thinking, and his business has taught me a lot more of how to run business. But not only that, he's became a lot of friends. He's got a lot of friends in NASCAR now, and that's more to it than anything else. But today is a huge day for us. It's really big for us, and I got cold chills getting ready to say this, but we are proud to announce that we have obtained 2 charters in the NASCAR Cup Series, and we definitely are going Cup racing next year, and it's pretty exciting to us both. And when I say that, I'm glad the cat's out of the bag. It took a lot of people to make this happen. A lot of friends. You see Todd standing over here. A lot of people behind us have been with us, have put a lot of effort to us to be able to get this 2 charters. And we're really excited to be able to have 2 charters. And that probably goes to say, well, why are these 2 drivers sitting up here? Well, I want to announce our first full-time, multi-year driver for the sprint. I was about to say sprint, but for the Cup Series, Justin Haley. Justin Haley will drive our car in Cup next year and years to come. Multi-year deal with Justin, thanks to his uncle Todd for getting him where he's at. That's why he's here. But Justin has been in our family for now 3 years. Now we know he's going to be here much longer. And that's to sit here and say his dad had to come along and kind of watch him, right? So we wanted to bring his dad along because obviously everybody's sitting here going, is A.J. Allmendinger going Cup racing, right? Is A.J. Allmendinger going Cup racing? Well, A.J. Allmendinger has bought into Collick Racing, everybody. I want to be very clear about that. He is part of us. He is part of a lot of decision-makings that we have. We sat down with A.J. Allmendinger and had a lot of conversations, and we feel like A.J. deserves another shot at going for Xfinity Championship. So he's going to go for another Xfinity Championship in 2022. So he will be racing in Xfinity Series along with a bunch of Cup races yet to be determined. And we wanted him here with his son because they're such a great group. They're such a great pair. I remember one day walking on the plane, and A.J. grabs me by my leg and drags me back off. And he hadn't met Justin probably but 2 or 3 times, and he goes, "Hey, you got to talk to Justin Haley." And I said, "For what?" He's like, and he goes on to tell me, and I said, "No, that's your job. That's why you're here." They became really good friends. They became people that most racers and drivers don't become. And we're leaning on both of these guys to bring Collick Racing to the next level. With our 2 charters, with our Xfinity program, and we're not done yet. This is just another step to our legacy. And we appreciate everybody making it happen, especially Matt and everybody in Northeast Ohio that's watching this. Being able to sit up here and say we're getting ready to be in the major leagues is pretty important. And we look, and I think we all are not scared to say having a young owner like Matt Collick in NASCAR is not a bad thing, right? Matt lives, eats, breathes NASCAR. On Sundays, he'll text me and go, "Are you watching this race?" And he'll be sitting there watching the races. So now he's going to be there on Sundays. And we're really excited. Justin Haley, we love you. We appreciate you. And we're really excited to watch you win sprint NASCAR Cup races. My goodness, I'm about to blow it again. But anyway, thank you. This is fun.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, thank you, Matt and Chris. You guys handpicked me out of the trucks 3 years ago. I really didn't have much lined up, and you've trusted me and believed in me, and that goes for AJ as well. Even though I don't text you back every time, I'm sorry. Dad gets a little mad if I don't text him back right away. But no, you guys have been super crucial to my career and to be going Cup racing with you guys full time. Right, I've been racing the Spire Motorsports car, and I have to thank everyone at Spire Motorsports for giving me the opportunity. It's kind of been the background scene this year of me doing these Cup races in preparation for this, and being able to try to improve myself on green flag pit stops and endure my body for the longer races and really get myself prepared for this opportunity in a very competitive race car next year. So I'm looking forward to the next gen car. Obviously Matt and Chris and everyone being a part of it. It's super cool to to continue with Colleague Racing, I feel like this was the right decision for my career. When Chris and Matt brought it to me, obviously Colleague Racing is a big family, and I just felt like it was right. And I can't thank them enough for everything they've done, and all the trophies we're gonna keep hunting, and we're gonna go win some Cup races next year for sure.
Well, I'm super excited and super proud of these guys sitting up here and really everybody at Colleague Racing. I mean, it is a really big day for me. It's a really big day for Chris and our whole Colleague Racing team. Even to be able to announce this. As you guys know, there's been so many people that are hunting charters, over the last year or so, and we got two of them. So Chris Rice did an unbelievable job and heading that up, and just a really, really great job. So thank you. But and super excited for Justin to be with us, again, full time again, and just I'm really proud of him for what he's been doing in his career. I mean, there's only a handful of guys ever have won a Cup race, an Xfinity race, and a truck race, and so great young driver. That's how I've built my companies and want to build our race team. That's how we build our race team is hopefully using the men and women that we have in the organization and just building, getting them better, getting them older, getting them more mature. And so really proud of Justin. When we brought him in 3 years ago, he made us better. And we like to say that we made him better. So, I mean, that's how teamwork works. And so really excited about that. AJ, super excited just to keep you on board. We always talk about AJ will do whatever. I mean, if we don't want him to drive anymore and we just want him to do whatever, we know that he'll do that. So appreciate your professionalism and your mentorship to these guys and to us. So learn tons about racing just from you, and really appreciate that. But guys, I couldn't be more excited. I mean, this is a big deal. This is a really, really big deal. We're just getting started in this business. I started a business out of my house in 2005, so it's been 16 years, and I started that with 3 people. So for a whole year, we had 3 employees, and we worked out of my house. And, we kind of started things, and now we've progressed that. We're now in 130 offices in the U.S. and Canada, and, we're a $1.5 billion corporation. So built that in a short amount of time. We're using the same energy, the same culture, and everything else that we're doing here at Colleague Racing to kind of do the same thing. You've seen how we've progressed over the last 6 years. And so this is a big, this is a big one in that journey, to win Cup races, win championships, and just grow and be as big as we can. There's a saying on our wall in the race shop that says either you continue to grow or you begin to die. And so we want to keep growing and continue to grow. Super young. He's a little bit younger than I am, but I'm 48 years old, and we've almost come up with the saying, like, it's the next generation car, and the next generation owner, and the next generation team. And so that's what we want to be in NASCAR, is the next generation team, and just kind of take over the way that we can.
So before we open it up to questions, we've heard from President Chris Rice, owner Matt Colleague, driver Justin Haley. AJ, can't let you go without asking. Chris mentioned that you've bought into Colleague Racing. What is it about Colleague Racing that makes it special and made you want to come out of retirement and race full time and continue next year?
Well, I mean, I didn't know if I was retired or not. Like that was like at that point at the end of 2018, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. And, I was fortunate enough to get a call from NBC and be a part of the NBC Sports Group and do some broadcasting and learn that side of it. But, Matt Colleague and Chris Rice, they called me, and I'd never met either one of them, but, I'd followed their journey from the start, and I loved what they were doing as a young team, not trying to grow too quick, because we've all seen it before. You try to all of a sudden take one car that's just getting good and all of a sudden make it 2 or 3 cars right away. All those cars suffer. So I really liked what Matt and Chris were doing, slowly taking Colleague Racing up through the Xfinity Series, getting better each year. And, I didn't know what was going to come of it. We planned to do 5 or 6 races in 2019, and that kind of went into more last year and had success. And this year, thankfully, they gave me the opportunity to be full-time in the Xfinity Series. And really what it comes down to, Winston, I mean, it's like you see the passion like that they have. And that's how they treat all their people. And, you know, it truly is a family atmosphere in the shop. And that doesn't mean we're easy on each other, because God knows, Chris, I'm not easy on him for sure, and he's not easy on me. But, you know, at the end of the day, you love going to war with people that have your back and will always have your back. And that's why I truly love this organization. And it's true. Like, I'm thankful that they still want me to drive, like, and not stop driving. But, like, I'm just enjoying it. And, you know, as Chris talked about, like, I've got to know Justin Haley, and I see a lot of myself when I was younger in him, good and bad. Like, you know, through the good and bad of how our mentalities are, of how our attitudes can be sometimes. Sorry, Jamie. And, you know, but I love the talent that he has. And in the 3 years, I love how he's grown on and off the racetrack. And because of that, all those things, I just wanted to keep being a part of the organization. So it truly was. They didn't have to say, you know, will you do this? I said, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it.
All right. Well, we'll take questions. There's a microphone here. If you'd state your name and affiliation, we'll start with Lee, then Dave, then Jamie, then Jim, and so on and so forth. So, Lee.
Lee Spencer, RaisingBoys.com. I guess the $64,000 question is, where did the charters come from? I heard it was Spire, but if you could confirm that, that would be lovely.
I will say this. They put out a statement probably about 3 minutes ago, right? Something like that. So you're correct.
And can you just talk about, Matt, from the humble beginnings to taking the next step? I mean, I guess 5 years ago, we were all sitting around wondering where the next young group of ownership was going to come from. And I guess the introduction of the new cars has moved that along in ours.
Yeah, well, you know, I think things have just progressed as we've gotten as we've gotten into the sport more. You know, I think back when we first started the team, when I first sat down with Chris Rice and Blake Cook at a steakhouse, and we were going to try to go from sponsorship. You know, I was spending so much money on sponsorship that I said, man, I don't even know the economics of the sport or what it would cost, you know, to actually have a race team. So we sat down at the steakhouse, and Chris Rice went over all the numbers, as he's so great with, and showed me the budget of what we'd be looking at. And so immediately passed on that and went back to sponsoring the whatever car we were doing at the time. But and then business was going well, and then he and I kept talking, and decided that we could do it. And so we got a race shop and started a race team, and have just progressed. So he was, you know, I don't even know how many employees we had at the beginning.
We had 12 at the start.
12. So we had 12 people, and we really we grew it from there. I think we ran one car for a couple of years, and then we said, hey, well, let's introduce another car when we felt we were ready. And we put an addition on the race shop. And then we got a third car, and we started running I think we ran the Daytona 500 2 years ago. And, you know, just progressed like that. And I think you're seeing the continuation of that progression. And it's because of my relationship with Chris Rice and his relationship with me. And, you know, I think everybody knows that Chris runs the team, runs the day-to-day operations, really makes, you know, I mean, wouldn't say he makes all the decisions, but
Not even close.
But, you know, we've really, on purpose, built this organization, so we're going to continue to build it, and that's what we're doing.
Go to Dave and then Jamie.
Dave Moody, MRN, and SiriusXM NASCAR Radio for either Chris or Matt. 2 charters, 1 full-time team. Can you outline what the plans are for the other chartered car?
Well, that's why we wanted to get it announced. You know, we wanted to get it announced. We wanted to get Justin Haley out there so his partners that Justin Haley has, even though Matt owns Lead for the Gutter Protection, now we have to go out and figure out, hey, what partners are we going to go cup racing? And that's the same thing with the second charter. What do we do with it? You know, I mean, we're new to this. Like I've had to lean on people to ask those questions. So that is yet to be determined, but we're definitely sitting here going, okay, wheels are turning. What are we going to do with it now?
Safe to assume that it wouldn't be a fully chartered part-time entry?
Cannot be a part-time entry. It's got to be full-time, and we know that going in.
Okay. Jamie?
Jamie Little, NASCAR on Fox. Congratulations, Justin. And I was remembering back to a year ago, and we had this talk. We're sitting with Chris Rice. You were talking about getting that first win in Xfinity because you didn't know where your career was going after that year. You got the win, and it seems like something clicked, something changed. So first off, if you could talk about that moment in your career and not knowing and having uncertainty and now where you sit now. And then for you, AJ, there's a lot of people out there that just want so badly to see you back full-time in the Cup Series. So I want to know from you why your decision to still be part-time and to stay in the Xfinity Series for another full-time season.
Yeah, well, obviously the Xfinity win, it was big for me personally, but at the time the 11 car with leaf filter on it hadn't won anything, and me, AJ, and Ross at the time, we were so bought in to getting the 11 car in victory lane. It was so huge to us I mean, it wasn't even myself. You know, there's a selfless part to it that I just wanted the car in victory lane. I didn't care who was driving it. I wanted the 11 car. It's Matt's flagship car, right? It's everything that he's put his heart and soul into. Not saying that, you know, AJ's 16 car or Jeb's 10 car, but at the time, right, like the leaf filter car is his baby. And I just wanted that win so bad. And also to check off all three was super big to me. And you know, getting the Cup win and having my family there for my Cup win with Spire and everything that Spire's done, and TB and Drew and my mom and stepdad, everyone that's put so much into me. You know, you just want to prove you can do it to your parents. You want to prove that you can be successful to your team owners, your stepdad down there, AJ. You just want to prove that you can be competitive, and being able to do that last year was so big for me, and just checking off each of those wins, right? So I got 3 in trucks, 3 in Xfinity right now, hopefully 4 after this weekend, and then go Cup racing next year and hopefully click off a lot more.
Yeah, Jamie, I mean, for me, it's not about having to be back full-time in the Cup Series. You know, I mean, it's about enjoying what you're doing in life. And, I mean, everybody in here has seen it on my face when I'm not enjoying it. So I don't want to live like that. It's not fun to live like that. And, you know, when you find a home that you truly like being a part of, there's no reason to leave it, no matter what those plans are. And, you know, I'll still be racing Cup races. I mean, that's part of it. Now, how many, I'm not sure. But I'm just enjoying being a part of this group. And, you know, I've been fortunate enough in my life that I've had a lot of great people allow me to drive their race cars, whether it's been in Champ Car or in IMSA or in Cup and in Xfinity now. And there's been a lot of good and bad with it, and we've seen it all with me. So, you know, at this point in my life, like, it's fun showing up to a racetrack every weekend knowing you have a shot to win. If you go do the job, you go win races. It's fun showing up to the track with the people that you love going to war with. So there was never a question of mine whether, hell, they said, you know, we're going to start a truck team. Let's go run that instead. Like, I'm like, you know, cool. Like, I'm in. Let's go. So it was 0% doubt. I mean, Chris was like, hey, this is what, you know, if you want to look it over. I was like, no, here. Like, I'm done. Like, let's go. So it's that simple to me.
Okay, we'll go to Jim and then over here. And then back to Bob.
Jim Utter, motorsport.com for Matt. Just so curious, how did the next-gen car factor into your decision, both through the timing and whether it made it more financially viable?
Well, I'm not sure. I think we were going to go Cup racing really anyway. I mean,
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I don't think it made much difference. If we could have went last year, we would have, but with all the rules,
Yeah.
right, and the charter deal. So
Yeah.
I wanted to help him with that. We want to do the next-gen car, right? We want to be the next-gen car, but the decision-making, him and I talked about, if we would have went Cup racing last year, he would have been all about it, right? And Justin Haley driving it. So, but the next-gen car is a great opportunity to have us come.
and our plans last year were to do that. I mean, COVID hit, but we were, you know, we were going to run a handful of races last year in the Cup Series to prepare us to go full-time this year. but it just didn't work out that way. So here we are.
Okay, we'll go over here, then to Bob, and then Dustin.
Tucker White, last word on sports up. Matt, for a few years after the one of the big things we were sold on the charter system was that it was going to protect the owner, those in, well, basically the in group, already, like a better word, and make it easier make more incentivizing for new owners that come in.
Yeah.
And then for years, that really wasn't the case. And in fact, more teams were actually leaving than not. So why did it take so long for this to finally start, well, gaining steam and finally new owners finally starting to come in?
Well, we're super excited even to help and grow NASCAR. I think NASCAR is a great sport. It's a growing sport. The fan base is growing. It's exciting, and it's we're calling it the next gen car, but it's the next generation of what NASCAR is doing and what we're being involved in. And so I just happened to get in the sport and meet Chris Rice, 6 years ago, and it's just led to this. But no, I think the charter system is doing exactly what NASCAR and the owners wanted it to do originally. It took a few years to figure out what that would look like, how you would race them, how you could trade them, how you could buy them, who was going to buy them, who was going to sell them. And so, it's kind of a cool, side thing that people try to figure out with the sport, like who's going to get a charter, how can you get them? And they're hard. There's a lot of guys that are looking to get them, and there's a lot of teams looking to acquire them or to sell them. So we've just been fortunate enough to be able to make that happen. That was a very big part of what we needed to do to even go cup racing, and so we made it happen.
We'll go to Bob, then Dustin, then back over here.
Bob Pockrass, Fox Sports. First, just a point of clarification. You said AJ bought into the team. Like, I'm assuming you meant bought into the idea of the team, or has he? Okay.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah. We don't. Matt Collick 100% owns Collick Racing. Let's be very clear.
Okay. I just wanted to check because you used that word, and
he bought into ideas. How about that? And that cost him a lot of money.
And there was a lot of talk. There's been a lot of talk about charter prices going up over $10 million. I'm curious if you want to tell us. Great. I assume you're not going to tell us, but are you happy with what you paid, or do you feel like you overpaid and it's just a situation where there's a bigger supply or bigger demand than supply, and it's just kind of cost of business at this point?
Yeah, it's the price to play. I mean, you have to pay to play. So that's just the way the system worked. Hey, in the NFL, you have to buy a franchise if you want a team. You have to pay. So no, we're not going to say how much, but we're very comfortable. We worked very well with Spire to make that happen, and so we're very pleased with the outcome.
Okay, we'll go to Dustin, then back here, and then up to Chris.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. I've got a couple things. Matt, can you or Chris talk about this process? I mean, was this something that's been done over 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 years in terms of this acquiring the charter and getting that deal finalized to where you can make this announcement?
Well, he said, yeah, go ahead. You can turn around and look at the lady in the corner, and she can kind of tell you that it was a long process. We've been working on this for 2 years. It was not a secret. I can tell you, I stood in a place that Matt has that we was having a conversation with Justin and all of his group, and we talked about charters that day. I mean, that was 3 years ago. I mean, we had conversations about charters that day, but probably the serious talk was a year ago. And then, trying to figure out. I think the way I look at this is positive for the sport. This is positive for what Spire has done for the sport. They're contenders now. I don't feel like that anybody that's doing that has charters now can race well, right? Like and being able to let Matt Collick and myself and everybody in Collick Racing be able to get into the charter end of it is great. But it's been a process that's taken years. But probably the last 4 or 5 months been a lot of sleepless nights for me.
And Chris, since you've gone through the deep web of the charter system and what the ins and outs of it, moving forward to the end of the season, obviously, as you guys have mentioned, there's some buyers, sellers potentially. How much do you see changing in terms of charters? You know, there's a lot of talk, but are we going to see things take place, or is it just there's a lot of smoke right now?
Man, you know, I'll say this. I have never dealt with anybody no better than the Spire Group, than dealing with these charters. It has been amazing to deal with. Now, whether people sell other charters, I don't know. But we've had a relationship with TJ and everybody there, and it was a very easy transition, very quick, easy, straight to the point. But if people sell charters, I'm going to be awfully surprised. I'll be dead honest with you. It's very hard, but if they do, that's good. It may be a one or two that's left out there, or maybe even three. But man, that's gonna. I don't have much hair anyway, and I rub my head a lot. I don't know who's left that would be willing to be able to let other owners come in.
And one last thing for Matt, as you've talked about, this has been a process. This has been a building to this point. You know, what does it mean knowing, although you've gone Cup racing, that you're going to be at Daytona next year as a full-time team? You know, could be going for a championship. That this is a culmination of you know, several years of a process for you.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. You know, this racing thing's addictive. You know, you get addicted to it. It's fun when you're out at the track and your cars are out front, or you're even standing there and qualifying and you're watching. It's fun. The sport of it is fun. It's scoreboard watching, and it's fun. I think it's a lot of fun. And then there's a business side to it. So I'm equally as intrigued by the business side and just and getting better and getting bigger. And you know, hey, what do we need? What do we need to do to get faster? All right, well, we need to do this. How much is that going to cost? All right, we're going to have to go get sponsorship. So we need more sponsorship. You need more money coming in. So just the business of NASCAR is very intriguing, and it's and now we got 2 charters, and you know we're playing the game, and we'll see where it goes.
Okay, we'll go here and then up to Chris.
Steven Toronto, CBS Sports. This is going to be a question for both Matt and Chris. In the couple of Cup races you've run this year, you've had Kaz Growell in the car at Daytona and Talladega. Kaz actually finished 6th at Talladega. Given that you're going to have AJ in a Cup car for a couple races next year, I wanted to know, does Kaz figure into your plans for 2022 at all?
I definitely we want to keep Kaz, you know, moving forward in our program, right? Like, so we are in the Xfinity Series for a long time. That is our plan. We're not leaving the Xfinity Series, so we're going to have a lot of options there. But trying to figure out where Kaz, you know, falls is putting the puzzle pieces together is what it's about. I had a conversation with Kaz this week about that, you know, and it all boils back down to, like Matt just said, sponsorship. Can we get the sponsorship to be able to go racing with Kaz? And Kaz has done an amazing job with us in the Cup car. You know, he made the Daytona 500 down to the last lap. We didn't think we was going to make it in the duels, but he finished very well at Talladega, and he's on all of our post-race meetings. So Kaz has been he's been a very good part to College racing, and trying to figure out where those puzzle pieces fall is probably up to us over the next 2 or 3, 4 months.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, Chris, still got something? Anybody else? Raise your hand. Bob and Lee. Okay.
Chris Knight, CatchFence.com. Matt, speaking of the Xfinity Series, how many teams do you plan to run in 2022? And then my follow-up question is, for College racing, do you anticipate or hope that maybe you guys will expand your footprint outside the NASCAR works? Maybe do what Ganassi or Penske does at IndyCar, IMSA, something along those lines down the road. I know that there may be some interest in other motorsports for College.
Now, you know, there are no plans to do that. I don't know that I'd ever be interested. I mean, you never say never, but I don't have any interest whatsoever in doing that. And as far as how many Xfinity teams, we'll have at least 2. Not sure if we'll have that 3rd team. If it was up to me, we would have 4. But I understand the ability to build that many race cars and run that many teams.
Our biggest problem, Chris, we don't have enough bathrooms for all the people. So I have to keep it to a certain amount of people.
Always gets back to that. That's what Humpy used to say. Lee?
Matt, a lot of stick and ball guys have come and gone. You know, Joe Gibbs obviously has stayed. He's been the most successful of the bunch. But what is it about about competition that continues to drive you, and just the things that you learn from your background that has helped make Colleague a success?
Well, just the competitiveness. You know, we've made Leaf Filter, like when I started Leaf Filter 16 years ago, we wanted it's gutter screens. I mean, we do gutter protection. They're 5-foot panels. We clean out gutters, and then we put these panels on. It keeps all the leaves and debris out of your gutters. You know, not sure how exciting that is as a thing to go to work to do every day, but we've created a situation where we are very statistically oriented. So we scoreboard. How many sales do we have? How many installs do we do? How big is this office? And then all of a sudden we grow to more offices, and then those offices compete against the other offices. And so we've just created a competitive environment. And so that intrigues me about racing in the environment that we have. You know, you go out to the track and, you know, you see how fast you can run, and then if you don't win the trophy and you think you can get better, we go back to the drawing board and try to get better. And so so that's fun to me, and I love it.
Okay. Got time for one or two more, Bob, and then go back, close it out with Dustin.
Matt, are you continuing assume you're continuing your alliance with RCR, considering you're next door to them with your 2 buildings, but how does that change at all with this new alignment, this new car? And there also was talks that maybe you might purchase the whole thing of RCR. I'm curious if those. Was that all just garage chatter, or was there actually some truth to that?
No, I think that's garage chatter. No, we have a great relationship with RCR, and I've developed a very good relationship with Richard and that team over there, and we continue to get bigger and become better partners. And so I think the best thing, even for both of our organizations to do, since we're so close, is just to get better. They've helped make us better. I think we help make them better. And so we want to continue that partnership. You just continue to make each other better.
Dustin?
For Chris or Matt, was it always the intent to this to purchase 2 charters and be a 2-cup team, or was it the idea of one and all of a sudden the second charter became part of the deal and became more inviting?
Well, if you heard him, he would run 36 if he could. So, you know, Matt's not, he is very upfront. He wants to be a powerhouse team one day. So if we could get 4, we would get 4. But are we ready to run 4? Absolutely not. You know, we just purchased another shop right beside us, and we're doing a $1.6 million upgrade to that. So we got to get in that shop. But I would say that, you know, looking at 1 versus 2 versus 4, you know, we could have got 4 at one time. We probably would have. But and we didn't go into it one way or the other. You know, it was just availability, and being able to do what we did was the right timing.
Well, thanks everybody for being here. For Matt, Chris, Justin, AJ, congratulations. I know you 2 guys have a championship to run against each other this year, and a lot of success. But congratulations. Appreciate your time, and best of luck throughout 2021. Justin Haley, Matt Colleague, Chris Rice, AJ Allmendinger.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.